Trước khi bắt đầu, nếu bạn đang tìm kiếm sách để học IELTS hiệu quả, thì đây là những cuốn sách chúng mình khuyên dùng. Nó có thể giúp bạn đạt điểm IELTS từ 7.0 tới 8.0. Bạn hãy xem ở phần giỏ hàng trong kênh nhé. Cảm ơn bạn đã ủng hộ kênh.
Section 1. You will hear a woman who wants to rent a vacation cottage telephoning the owner.
Hello?
Oh, hello. I'm calling about a vacation rental. The name I've been given is Carol Marriott.
I'm Dave, Carol's husband. We own it together.
Oh, right. Well, some friends of ours rented Astor Cottage from you for a week by the ocean last summer, and they recommended it to us. My husband and I would like to rent it in the fall for a week.
Okay. When exactly?
We're looking at the week beginning September 21st, if it's available.
Let me check. No, I'm sorry. It's already booked that week. You could have it the previous week from the 14th.
Well, we could manage that week if we change a couple of arrangements. How much would it cost?
That would be $835.
That's rather more than we wanted to pay, I'm afraid. We were hoping to pay closer to $790, which our friends paid last year.
We also have a slightly smaller cottage called Periwinkle Cottage.
Excuse me? How do you spell the name?
Periwinkle. Periwinkle. It's available the week you want it, and it's the exact same price that your friends paid last year. I take it you want a place that sleeps just 2 people, like Astor Cottage?
Yes. Is it near Astor Cottage?
Yeah, it's right across the street.
And what's this cottage like?
Well, it's part of a historic building that was originally a school 100 years ago. It was converted into a post office around 1950. Then, later on, the post office moved, and the building was divided to make 2 cottages.
So, is it on several floors?
No, it's all on one floor. There's a large living room, a kitchen that's really well equipped, a bedroom, and a bathroom with a tub and a shower.
Oh, very nice.
From the living room, you can go out onto the deck, which is a great place to have your meals when the weather's nice.
That sounds fantastic. Can you see the river that flows through the town from the cottage?
You sure can. It's close by. You can see it from the bedroom.
Okay. Would we need to bring anything? Bedding, say?
That's provided. But we make a small charge for towels, unless you bring your own, of course.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. Because we'll be driving, there'll be plenty of room in the car for things like that. Oh, that reminds me. Is there a garage that we can use?
I'm afraid there isn't one. But you can usually get a parking spot on the street right in front of the cottage.
No problem. We probably won't use the car much while we're there anyway. We like to go for walks. Oh, and what about the town itself? Are there any restaurants in the neighborhood?
There are a few, all within walking distance. A lot of people like the fish restaurant, but in my opinion, the Chinese restaurant has got to be the best for miles around.
That's good to know. We might end up eating out every evening.
Well, why not?
Our friend said the town is pretty famous for antique stores.
That's right. There's a whole bunch of them, at least 10 on the main street.
Marvelous. Okay, I'd like to make the booking, please.
Great. We ask for a deposit of $200 and final payment at least 6 weeks before your stay. But we'll be away ourselves for much of August, so let's say no later than the last day of July. Is that okay with you?
Fine.
Okay. Then let me give you our details so you can send the deposit.
2. You will hear a man called Rob Schaefer, who is the general manager of a new hotel, talking about the hotel to members of the public on the opening day.
Well, let's get started. I want to thank you all for coming along to the opening of the Montana Resort Hotel. My name's Rob Schaefer, and I'm the general manager here. We're very glad so many of you have come along to see the beautiful facilities we have here at the hotel. We feel we're exceptionally located, convenient for the city, but far enough from the flight path to and from the airport so that guests won't be disturbed and will be able to recharge their batteries in these uniquely peaceful surroundings. Firstly, the guest rooms. What we call the standard rooms are about 80 square feet, very spacious. These come with one king-size bed or with 2 double beds and a refrigerator, and as far as price goes, they go up to $210 per room, but at the lower end of the range, you can get one for just $145. So these are very suitable for our more price-conscious guests. Then there are deluxe suites. These have a separate living room as well as the bedroom. The bedrooms are slightly larger than the standard rooms, with huge windows, and each one has a balcony where you can sit out and enjoy the views, either of the golf course or the mountains, depending which way the room is facing. We welcome families at the hotel. Extra beds for your room can be provided for young children at no extra cost, and that's true even in the summer. Also, we have some rooms that adjoin one another, with a door connecting them. We expect that these will attract parents who want to be able to check that their children are safe easily. All our guests can benefit from the fine dining opportunities in the hotel. In the grill room, guests can watch the flames fly as food is sizzled by the restaurant's master chefs, while the Pantheon restaurant has facilities for intimate dining or large dinners and a live jazz band that spices up the evenings from Thursday to Saturday. Finally, the Montana Cafe is open 24/7 for anything from a coffee or a sandwich to a more substantial meal. Now let's have a look at our outdoor facilities. So here at the main entrance to the hotel, we're looking north, straight down Peak Road. You'll see a few horses in the nearby field, and the first building on our right is the barn where the horses are kept. We have 12 of them, and they've all been trained here so they know the terrain. Beyond that, you can just see the lake. The road bends around past that, and just on that corner between the road and the lakeside, there are a couple of tennis courts. It's a beautiful setting for a game, I'm sure you'll agree. Then looking on the left side of Peak Road, there's a road that leads off it that's called Valley Avenue. And on this side of Valley Avenue, just past that patch of trees, there's a building with a flat roof. And that's our Olympic-sized swimming pool. This has 12 lanes, and there's also a baby pool for children. The Montana Golf Course is the jewel of our outdoor facilities, though. You can see part of it on the far side of Valley Avenue, and it spreads off west for a pretty long way. It's an 18-hole course with beautiful landscaping. We expect lots of golfers to stay, and one of our aims is to host a professional golf tournament. The last building I want to point out is the Office of the Outdoor Facilities Manager. It's in its own building, just opposite where Valley Avenue turns off on Peak Road. Okay, so if you'd like to follow me...
Section 3. You will hear 2 industrial design students called John and Debbie discussing research for a presentation on a new building.
Hi, John.
Hi, Debbie. Should we get ready for our presentation?
Yes. Well, we have to give a presentation to our seminar group about Education House, the new government building that uses cooling, heating and water in an environmentally friendly way.
Let's start with a diagram of the building so the other students can see what it looks like.
Well, here's a very simplified diagram with symbols to represent key areas of the design.
Shall we look at it and see if we can explain the different processes?
Yes, firstly, on the left-hand side of the roof, there's a cooling tower.
Yes, this is where hot, stale air from inside the building rises naturally up a chimney. There are exhaust fans mounted on the roof that push the air out.
Okay, moving along the top of the roof to the right-hand side, we have the weather station. This monitors how cool the outside air is. Once this is assessed, then the information is fed to computers and these activate the necessary heating or cooling processes.
Okay, let's talk now about the cooling processes.
On the right-hand side of the building below the timber shutters is the part they call the shower tower.
This is where water falls through a 3-storey tube, sucking in air from outside as it falls. The unusual thing about it is this fresh air actually helps to cool the building.
Yes, it's amazing, really. Okay, below ground level in the basement on the right-hand side is a tank, which forms another part of the cooling process. The tank is full of small metal balls. Water passes through this tank. Each time it does this, the balls absorb the heat from the water, making it cooler without using any energy.
What shall we talk about next?
Well, you see the balcony below the light shelf?
What happens there?
Rainwater is fed down from the roof, and this is where it's used to water the plants that cover the outside wall.
What about the square above the light shelf? It represents a window, doesn't it?
Yes, that's important to point out, because the upper floor windows get more daylight than the lower floor ones. The windows at the top of the building are smaller than those at the bottom. This means energy is saved higher up in the building because not as much heat is wasted through large windows.
Let's continue the presentation by giving our opinions on some of the features of the building. Let's talk about what we thought was surprising about the building.
Yes, it's not out of the ordinary in terms of size. I mean, it's well under the height of the surrounding buildings. Also, in the past, I think people would have been surprised by the vegetation on the facades, but that's become quite common now.
That's right. But we both agreed that the access to the building through a shopping arcade is quite unusual.
Yes, the way in is behind a small cafe, which is not what you'd expect. Now, should we mention the findings on staff productivity in the building? According to one article, the access to greenery and vegetation is increasing productivity by relieving stress.
Yes, I remember that article.
Researchers have been monitoring this for a couple of years now, so the results are clear. But to be honest, I think it's pretty obvious that you feel calmer seeing greenery around you.
Yes, we've been reading that in newspapers for ages, haven't we? So I wouldn't bother to mention it.
Okay, so we haven't mentioned the edge space yet. You know, the place that's been marked for social interaction between workers, where you can have a coffee and a chat. What are your thoughts about it?
Well, I'm just amazed the management allowed it. I'm sure all the staff love to get away from their desks, I would. I'm just not sure how much work I'd get done if I had an edge space to go to.
I agree. Okay, let's think about the water system now. They want to supply 100% of their own non-drinking water needs by recycling water, and it looks like they are on target to complete this stage of the project by early next year. But you know, I don't think the staff are going to respond well to this.
I agree. People just don't like using too much recycled water, even though it's been proven to pose no health risks whatsoever.
Well, I've really enjoyed researching this building.
Part 4. You will hear a student giving a presentation about houses which are built underground.
For my presentation on ecological environmental planning, I have chosen to talk about how underground housing, or earth-sheltered housing as it's more commonly known, can meet the demands of ecological environmental planning, both in terms of building and energy resources, and in terms of sensitivity to the landscape. Perhaps the greatest merit of this building technique is the low impact it has on the environment, since houses built underground can hardly be seen from the surface. If earth-sheltered homes are perfect for environmentally sensitive sites, they are also remarkably efficient when it comes to energy use. This is because this kind of housing makes greater use of alternative technologies to improve energy efficiency, as I shall explain in more detail later. Many earth-sheltered housing projects use natural, non-toxic resources for building materials, such as rammed earth, which are surprisingly durable. Some of these houses have a predicted lifespan of 500 years or more. The extra protection offered by this type of housing means less exposure to the elements, which keeps maintenance to a minimum, as there aren't any outside walls to paint or gutters to clear, for example. Living underground also brings the advantage of a quieter environment, eliminating disturbances caused by traffic, an enormous problem these days and one of the most common reasons for people to consider moving home. And lastly, despite the misconception that underground houses must be very damp, earth-sheltered housing offers significant health advantages. The sophistication of the ventilation systems installed in earth-sheltered houses brings enormous benefits to people suffering from asthma and other chest conditions. I'd like now to turn to the situation in the UK, where, despite all the obvious advantages, earth-sheltered housing still isn't a popular option for most homeowners, as the statistics prove. The British Earth Sheltering Association says that people shouldn't be put off by fears of too much red tape, as it is getting easier to get planning permission. There is quite a lot of evidence that building development officers are more sympathetic to earth-sheltered projects, especially in conservation areas. Special consideration has been given to several underground homes on sites where conventional development would not normally be allowed. And there are hopes that one day Britain's coastline will no longer be dominated by mobile homes, and instead the job of providing this type of accommodation will be done by earth-sheltered housing. I'd like to finish by looking at two quite different projects, Mole Manor and the Hockerton project. When it was first built, Mole Manor generated international media interest and was voted one of the 12 most desirable places to live in the world in a national newspaper poll. Hockerton also attracted wide publicity, winning several awards for its innovative environmental design. As is the case for all earth-sheltered homes, running costs at Mole Manor are substantially lower than for conventional homes. Because of its effective insulation, its heating bills are approximately 75% lower than for conventional houses. However, at Hockerton, solar energy, wind power and rain are used to generate enough warmth, electricity for light and cooking, and water for washing and drinking for all the needs of the 5 families who live there. Their aim of living a holistic lifestyle in harmony with the environment has been realised. Hockerton also proves that earth-sheltered houses can be built on a modest budget. Each of the families contributed £80,000, the cost of an average family house in this area. Style, rather than cost, was more of an issue in the design of Mole Manor. The homely terraced cottage style at Hockerton contrasts with the grandeur and space of Mole Manor, which today is worth over £800,000. What projects like Mole Manor and Hockerton demonstrate is that earth-sheltered housing can provide comfortable, stylish, eco-friendly homes for a diverse range of needs. The combination of architecturally sensitive designs with new energy-saving technology satisfies all the criteria for ecological environmental planning.